and it looked like new information has been revealed about Caitlin Clark's future contract with the Indiana.
Caitlin Clark has already changed the landscape of women's basketball. But what if there's another game-changing twist hidden within her rookie contract? A new wave of reports surrounding the Indiana Fever has sparked major discussion about what could be next for her future. Some believe her next deal could break salary records and even force the WNBA to rethink how it structures player compensation. This story isn't just about one superstar. It could shape the future of the entire league. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Caitlin Clark's contract has become one of the biggest stories in basketball.
And everybody, Caitlin Clark's new contract is already in the works, bruh. The Indiana Fever is not wasting no time with making sure they dot their I's and cross all the T's when it comes to keeping Caitlin Clark on this Indiana Fever.
There's no denying Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA, and the Indiana Fever are facing growing pressure to secure her long-term future with the franchise. Her rookie salary, set under the league's collective bargaining agreement, represents only a small portion of the value many believe she brings to the sport. The WNBA is now facing a situation it has rarely experienced before. One player generating extraordinary attention, revenue, and excitement on a scale that can rival entire teams. According to recent reports surrounding the Indiana Fever, discussions are reportedly happening behind the scenes about what her future could look like. However, those conversations may be facing a major obstacle: the league's current salary structure and regulations, which many believe were not designed for a player with this level of commercial impact.
You know, she's still on a rookie contract for the next couple years. But one thing I can tell you that I know definitively is that the organization is working on a massive contract for Caitlin Clark future.
The numbers tell a powerful story. Caitlin Clark is reportedly responsible for nearly 26% of the WNBA's overall activity this season. Think about that for a moment. A rookie fresh out of college generating more than a quarter of the league's attention and business impact, with her name reportedly connected to a significant share of WNBA ticket sales. She's not just another player on the court. She has become a major phenomenon, and the Indiana Fever understand exactly what's at stake. Keeping her with the franchise isn't simply important. It has become one of the organization's biggest priorities.
We know Caitlin Clark is ultimately going to be the person to yay or nay whatever solution they come up with. So they got to do everything in their best interest to get ahead of this thing way before it ever comes up. So word on the street is that the Indiana Fever is putting together proposals and putting together different things under the WNBA rules that they can for Caitlin Clark.
With Caitlin Clark dominating headlines and her jerseys selling out almost as quickly as they can be restocked, the Indiana Fever have seen an incredible surge in fan interest. This season alone, the team has reportedly attracted more than 300,000 fans to its games. Television audiences have also climbed dramatically, with viewership reportedly increasing by around 300%, while nearly 45% of those viewers are tuning in specifically for Indiana Fever games. These numbers are more than impressive statistics. They highlight the extraordinary impact Caitlin Clark has had on the league. She isn't simply playing basketball. She has become one of the biggest forces driving the sport's growing popularity.
This is about getting Caitlin Clark's new contract done. They get her contract done, seal and deliver the future.
However, this is where the biggest challenge begins. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement places limits on player salaries and sets rookie pay regardless of a player's commercial value or impact. That means Caitlin Clark is playing under a system created long before a player with her level of influence entered the league. Even at the higher end of her rookie contract, her earnings remain modest compared with the revenue and attention many believe she generates. Everyone involved, from Clark to the Indiana Fever and league officials, understands the imbalance, but the rules have not fully caught up with reality. According to recent reports, the Fever are exploring different options to strengthen Clark's long-term future in Indianapolis, including performance incentives, bonuses, endorsement opportunities, and partnership arrangements. But even those ideas could be temporary solutions to a much larger issue. Clark's extraordinary rise has highlighted questions about whether the league's current compensation structure is equipped to reward players who have an exceptional impact. Her influence also extends far beyond the basketball court, with economic estimates suggesting that her presence has generated around $36 million for Indianapolis, benefiting the Fever as well as local businesses, restaurants, hotels, and the wider city economy. Yet despite that impact, Clark's rookie contract remains relatively modest compared with major professional sports, fueling debate about whether the WNBA's salary structure accurately reflects the value of its biggest stars. The comparison with the NBA makes the discussion even more striking. Victor Wembanyama, the first overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, entered the league on a rookie contract worth many millions of dollars, while Clark's four-year rookie deal is significantly smaller. The difference raises important questions about how elite talent is compensated across professional basketball. With the WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement approaching its expiration, many believe upcoming negotiations could provide an opportunity to revisit salary rules and create a system that better rewards players who have an exceptional impact on the league's growth. But meaningful change takes time, and the longer the process continues, the more questions arise about whether players like Clark could eventually consider opportunities elsewhere. As women's basketball continues to expand globally, the challenge for the WNBA is clear. How can it attract and retain elite talent if its financial structure struggles to keep pace with the value those players create? According to reports, the Indiana Fever understand how important it is to keep Clark long-term and are expected to explore every option available within league rules. However, those same rules limit how much flexibility teams have. The conversation has therefore become much bigger than one contract. Clark has demonstrated the enormous demand that exists for women's basketball when fans have a compelling reason to watch. People are buying tickets, following broadcasts, and investing more attention in the league. The challenge now is making sure that momentum continues. If the league cannot adapt to this changing reality, it could risk slowing the progress made in recent years. Ultimately, this debate goes beyond the WNBA. It reflects a broader conversation across sports about how women's athletics are valued and how elite athletes should be compensated. For many observers, the central question is simple. If one player can have such a transformative impact on her league, should the financial system evolve to better reflect that contribution? Caitlin Clark's story represents a much larger challenge that the WNBA can no longer ignore. The Indiana Fever and the league now find themselves at a critical crossroads. They want to secure Clark's long-term future, but they are operating within a system created long before a player with this level of influence entered the league. According to recent reports, the Fever are exploring every possible option to build around Clark and keep her with the franchise. Even so, the current rules leave teams with limited flexibility, making the situation far more complicated than many fans realize. The next few years could be pivotal, not only for Caitlin Clark's career, but also for the future direction of the WNBA. The league now faces an important question. Can it adapt to a new era of women's basketball, or will it continue operating under a structure that many believe no longer reflects today's reality? The stakes have rarely been higher. Caitlin Clark is more than a once-in-a-generation player. She has become a global basketball brand, a major marketing force, and a symbol of the league's growing potential. Yet the biggest question remains unanswered. Can the WNBA evolve quickly enough to create a system that supports stars of her caliber, or will it struggle to keep pace with the opportunities and expectations of the modern game? Clark's influence extends far beyond the basketball court. Reports indicate that her arrival has helped drive significant interest in television broadcasts, with Indiana Fever games accounting for a notable share of the WNBA audience. There is a clear reason for that. Clark is not only an elite basketball player. Her confidence, exciting style of play, and personality have made her one of the biggest attractions in professional sports. Fans are not simply watching her play. They are buying tickets, purchasing jerseys, and following her career closely. For the Indiana Fever, her impact goes far beyond wins and losses. In a league where financial challenges have often been discussed, having a player with Clark's drawing power is a major advantage. Her jerseys consistently rank among the league's best-selling merchandise, showing the strength of her fan base. Yet despite that commercial success, teams cannot simply pay players whatever the market suggests they are worth. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement places limits on salaries, even for its biggest stars. According to recent reports, the Indiana Fever are exploring every available option to make Clark's long-term future with the franchise as attractive as possible. Performance incentives, endorsement opportunities, team partnerships, and other creative options have reportedly been considered. These discussions show how committed the organization is to keeping one of the league's most influential players in Indianapolis. While such options could help, many believe they may not fully address the larger issue. If the WNBA wants to retain players with Clark's level of influence, broader changes to the league's compensation system may eventually be necessary. The conversation also extends beyond Clark herself. Her situation has become a major test of the league's future. If the WNBA cannot provide competitive financial opportunities to its biggest stars, it could face increasing competition from overseas leagues that have historically attracted elite talent. Although Clark has not publicly indicated that she intends to leave the WNBA, the discussion highlights how valuable players of her caliber are in the global basketball market. If opportunities elsewhere become more attractive, other leagues would certainly take notice. For a sports city like Indianapolis, Caitlin Clark represents far more than a franchise player. She has become an economic driver, a community attraction, and one of the biggest reasons fans are filling arenas. Losing a player with that level of impact would be a major setback for both the Indiana Fever and the city itself. The WNBA and the Fever understand how important Clark has become, not only to the franchise but also to the league and the communities connected to it. Maintaining that momentum means finding ways to keep one of the sport's biggest stars in Indianapolis despite the financial challenges. Under the current salary structure, player compensation remains limited compared with the commercial value many believe Clark generates. While endorsement deals can significantly increase her overall earnings, some observers argue that they still do not fully reflect her impact on the league's business growth. That is why the Indiana Fever's long-term strategy has become such a major topic of discussion. According to recent reports, the organization is exploring ways to strengthen Clark's future with the franchise within the limits of the current collective bargaining agreement. One possibility that has generated discussion is the idea of more innovative compensation models, such as revenue-sharing arrangements or other creative financial incentives. If a model like that were ever adopted, it could represent a major shift. For the WNBA, a change like this could potentially influence how future contracts are structured. However, proposals of this scale would face significant challenges. Revenue-sharing agreements are complex, require extensive negotiations, and would likely need approval from the league and team owners. Any major change to the current system would ultimately depend on future collective bargaining discussions and broad agreement across the league. Reports also suggest that the Indiana Fever are exploring long-term partnership opportunities connected to Caitlin Clark's brand. The goal would be to create additional value through collaborations with companies that align with her public image, allowing both Clark and the organization to benefit within league rules. While creative, this approach also has limitations. Its success depends on continued interest from sponsors and brands, which is closely connected to Clark's popularity and the team's overall visibility. As long as she remains one of the league's biggest attractions, those opportunities are likely to remain strong. Even so, many believe they cannot fully replace long-term changes to player compensation. For her part, Caitlin Clark has largely kept her focus on basketball, avoiding public debate about her contract or future. At the same time, she is undoubtedly aware of her value and the opportunities available both inside and outside the WNBA. Whether those opportunities involve international basketball, expanded commercial partnerships, or other career paths, she has more options than most players. That is why the Indiana Fever are reportedly working so hard to build a long-term future around her. The organization understands that players of Clark's caliber can shape not only a franchise, but also the direction of an entire league. If the WNBA were ever to lose a player with her level of influence, many believe it could raise difficult questions about the league's long-term competitiveness and encourage broader discussions about career opportunities and compensation. Ultimately, Caitlin Clark's situation highlights how much the WNBA has grown and how much work may still remain as the league continues building a sustainable future for its players, teams, and fans. Perhaps the biggest issue is the league's current compensation structure. Many observers argue that while the system was originally designed to promote competitive balance and financial stability, it now faces new challenges as the league continues to grow. Players like Caitlin Clark, who have the ability to elevate the sport's popularity and commercial success, have sparked fresh conversations about whether the existing model still meets the league's long-term needs. Some believe the WNBA has an opportunity to create a stronger future by continuing to invest in its players. Greater investment in elite talent could help drive higher competition, larger audiences, stronger sponsorships, and ultimately a healthier business for the league as a whole. The challenge, however, is that meaningful change takes time, and the clock is moving. Discussions surrounding the next collective bargaining agreement will play a major role in determining how the league supports its stars moving forward. The Indiana Fever are reportedly doing everything they can within the current rules to build around Caitlin Clark, but there are clear limits to what any single franchise can accomplish under the existing system. If broader changes are needed, they will have to come at the league level. In many ways, Caitlin Clark's story has become about much more than basketball. It reflects what can happen when extraordinary talent, enormous commercial value, and long-standing systems intersect. It is a story of opportunity, growth, and the challenges that come with rapid change. The decisions made over the next several years could shape not only Clark's future, but also the future of the WNBA itself. Whether the league successfully adapts or continues under its current model may influence the direction of women's professional basketball for years to come. One thing is certain: Caitlin Clark is no longer just a player. She has become a symbol of the league's new era, a transformational figure whose impact extends far beyond the basketball court. The Indiana Fever, the WNBA, and the wider sports world all recognize that her influence has become impossible to ignore. Please share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and enable all notifications so you don't miss the latest updates. We'll see you in the next one.